Let's make the network diagram now with the properties: early start, early finish, late start, late finish. By the way, I just had snippets of the book. Kaning book ako na ning upload sa Canvas. It's chapter 6. Hindi kaya mag-type magbalik kayo, hindi kaya sa oras, busy kayo. Anyways, if naman mag-study, na ang book ako lang i-upload sa Canvas.
Recording in progress.
Okay, network diagram. So all kinds of projects, be it engineering, etc., have their own unique characteristics. So, generally they must all be completed because the main goal is to finish the project under the following objectives. First is to complete the project at the earliest minimum time. So sa mga clients, mga wala na sila kabaw sa mga technicalities. So when we say construction project, si client kay magsigira nag-update if kano sa amahuman. Wala na siya pake sa technicalities. So one of the goals to complete the project at the earliest minimum time. Then to use any available manpower, equipment, and other resources. And to complete the project with a minimum capital investment without causing due delay. So these three would be achieved if na proper planning. Construction management basically consider time as the controlling factor. So tanan aspects sa construction management, ang main niya parameter is always the time. So we have here time versus the number of manpower, time versus the number of equipment, and time versus peso. So for the planning objectives, the project manager's objective in planning could be summarized as follows. First is to represent graphically the specific job in the proper sequence of the job. So mga itong ibuhat last time, at nabuhat ang precedence diagram. Then to establish a medium for estimating the time and power or the other resources necessary for the job. To have available sequential arrangement of the jobs and accurate estimate of resources in the alternative plans based on the scope of work. So important terms, critical path. Ano naman sa last na ito nga discussion is the longest route in the network of activities representing a project. The sum of the activities duration along this route is the duration of the project. So critical path is just the longest path. Earliest event. What is earliest event? It is the earliest time occurrence of an event, sometimes called the earliest event time or early event time. Let's proceed. Earliest start. So the earliest start of an activity cannot be earlier than the earliest event of event time of the event. In other words, the earliest start of any activity is always equal to the earliest event. So we have here the I node and the J node. So si I node mana si I start, and si J node may finish. So let's say nata activities. This is the event 1, event 2. So event man ang nasa mga nodes, then the arrow represents the activity. So let's say this is activity A. Pwede na to siya tawagon sad og activity 1, 2. So sa to activity 1, 2, nata earliest start. So if walay nag-precede, walay nag-una diri sa event 1, if this is the start of the events, so atong earliest start is 0. Then, sunod. Earliest start and earliest finish. So earliest finish is just earliest start plus duration. So let's say the duration of this activity A is 5 days. So, atong earliest finish for 1 to, the earliest start for activity 1 to 2, and earliest finish for activity 1 to 2. So, to solve for the earliest finish, i-add na nimo ang earliest start, which is 0 plus the duration of the activity, which is 5 days. So, earliest finish is 5 days. And then, if napak tayo sunod ng activity dire, let's say activity 3, event 3, sorry, activity B, so, kaning earliest finish, ano yung mahimong earliest start sa activity 2 to 3. Gets ra? So, masabtan na ninyo along the way. The earliest start is not necessarily the point in time that activity will be over. It is the earliest time that it can occur. Earliest finish is just the earliest start plus the duration of the activity. So for the latest finish, or the late finish, or late start, late finish of activity cannot be later than the least event time of its J node. Now, by the way, in computing the earliest finish and earliest start and earliest finish, magamit ta og forward pass. So that's why natay atong pag analyze is from left to right. O mag na record man siguro, wala na record.
Record sir.
Okay. So natato. So natay for the earliest start and earliest finish, ba't na lang nakadere? Atong gamiton is the forward pass. So when we say forward pass, from left to right, forward pass. So ato ta magsugod sa zero start sa activity. Whereas if mag-solve ta sa late start o sa late finish, magamit ta og backward pass. So kani forward pass. This one. Backward pass. So unsa man ang backward pass? So let's say at end node nato is 6. Nato activity dere. Ang sige lang gel ako lang ikan later. So if man itong critical path, ang duration nato is 5. So along this path is the critical path, makakuha tag final duration, let's say 25 days. So if this is the final duration, mao ni atong tawagon og late finish. Automatic na siya. Late finish. So atong late finish at 6. So by the way, this event is the last event. Mao ni pinaka bali completion na niya siya ang 6. So mao ni gitawag og forward pass kay naata sa backward pass, I mean inata sa last event nag-start. So late finish, this would be duration. And to solve for the late start, LS. So let's start of activity 5 to 6. Equal na siya og 25 minus the duration. So late start dara. Late start is late finish minus the duration. So late finish is 25 minus 5. So that would be 20. And so on. So arita sa 4. Yan, kani si late start ni 5 to 6, mahimo na siyang late finish ni 4 to 5. And solve na sa late start, 4 to 5. That would be uh, late finish sa 4 to 5, 20 minus 4, 21. Then so on so forth. Hantod maka-atras ta. Abot ta sa event 1. Activity float. So total float is the span of time an activity can be delayed after its earliest start time without delaying the project. I-demo lang na to later. Walang example. So here are the formulas. Late finish minus early finish is the total float. Activity free float. Formula for free float. Early start, ES minus ES plus D. ES plus D is just early finish. So independent float, we have early start minus late finish minus duration. Let's have an example. So for computing the early start and the early finish, after determining the value of each activity, we can proceed to the following. The expected duration of the project, the slack time, and determine which activity falls under the critical path. So, sa katong inyong gibuhat sa assignment, actually, mo na to early, naka-establish na mo itong mga early start and early finish. Early finish for any activity is equal to the earliest starting time plus its expected duration. So we have early finish is equal to early start plus the duration t. Then for nodes with one entering arrow, ES for activities at such node is equal to EF. So mara to itong i-convert. Diba? Okay. So ES daw sa 2, 3 is just equal to the EF of 1. Activity 1 to 2. So we have here the illustration. Using the following network diagram, compute for the value of ES and EF times. So first, assume an early start of 0. So sa first event, 0 good at early start. Activities without predecessors, we start from 0. Means activity 1, 2. So we have here activity 1 and 2. This one. These activities. 1 and 2. Ang early start is 0. Then the early finish for 1 to 2. Early finish is 10. Early finish 1 to 3 is 6. So add ra. So, sa inyo rin siya kasi inyo rang sabayon ang linya. Basta kamao lang mo mabuhat sa precedence diagram. Tugo na na yun ta. And early finish of activity 1 to 2 is just equal to the early ito to. And solve naman na to. Then the early start for activities 2 to 4 is just equal to the early finish of 1 to 2. Okay, butang ha. Early finish sa 1 to 2 mo na siya. So early finish sa 1 to 2 is 10. Automatic na since walay laing arrow na na-connect sa 2 atong early start sa 2 to 4 o 2 to 5 is also 10. Yeah, early start na to sa 3 to 4 is also 6. And the corresponding time for these activities So we have early finish sa 2 to 4. 2 to 4 early finish 18. Early finish for 2 to 5 23. So we have here 23. Early finish to 3 to 5 of 3 to 5 6 plus 12. That's 18. Then early finish for 4 to 5 22. Layo naman yung sulat. So kaning to kay duration ni aning activity. So we have early finish 18, 18, 23, another 18 and 22. So the activities 4 to 5 has the early starting time ES equal to 18 and early finish time of 18 plus 4. So unsa may atong gamiton na early start for activities 5 to 6. Activity 5 to 6. So, gigan dere is the largest number. So, always man sa if imong i-analyze logically, so dapat if forward pass ka, dapat ang largest value or the longest duration may mo govern. So ang atong early start for 5 to 6 is 23. So 5 to 6 early start is 23. Then add yun ang 2 for the early finish. 25. Ano na kayo no? Add ra yan, minus. So, mato ang computing for the early start and early finish. So, that's for forward pass. So, next, last start and last finish. Late start man tani. Late start or late finish. Or latest start or latest finish. Yan ang last man eh. So, if mag-compute tag late start and late finish, we'll have the backward pass. Ato ta magsugod sa in this example, ari ta magsugod sa event 6. Backward pass. So determine the latest starting time and late finish. And then late start or late finish. The first nanatay duration which is 25 weeks. So to find for the late start of 5 to 6, we have 25 minus 2. So 2 is the duration of the activity 5 to 6. So natay late start sa activity 5 to 6 nga 23. And for activity 5 to 6 start not later than 23, all immediate predecessors must be finished not later than that time. So para dili daw madelay ang project, na dapat ang mga activities na nag-precede sa event 5 should be done on or before 23 weeks. So if mulapas na tag 23 weeks, delay na itong project. Then for activity 4 to 5, so for the late start, is subtract na to si 23 minus duration. Then we have 19. Then late start sa 4 to 5. 4 to 5. So naman ni magasaag ni. This should be 3 to 5. Ayaw pong yung isulat. So 3 to 5. This is 11. So 23 minus 12. Dagag mga tayo po error sa book ni Fardo, no? Tingin lang, masabtan naman Japan. In the same manner, for activity 2 to 5, we have 23 minus 13. So we have this 10. And nag-converge there sa event 2. So for activity 2 to 4, late start for this path is 11. So sa node 2, natay duha ka late start na 10 o 11. So kani nga late start, ang 10 is late start for activity 2 to 5, and kani 11 is the late start of activity 2 to 4. So if backward pass ta, sa itong gamiton na ni para uh, maatras. So for backward pass, opposite ra siya sa forward pass gyapon. So if natay node intersection, natay duha ka late start diri. Natay 11, 10 ug 11. Atong gamiton nga dividend for say dividend subtrahend for activity 1 to 2 is the shorter value or the shorter duration, which is kaning 10. So for activity 1 to 2, ano siya? Subtract ls, subtract the smallest value on node 2, on event 2, smallest value diha. May gamito na to para makuha ang late start sa activity 1 to 2. Take note that in node 2, masabtan na rin ninyo, review gyapon ninyo kung mo kasabot sa akong pag-explain. So take note that in node 2, we use the smallest value of 10, not 11 in solving backward. So for solving backward for LS or LF. And like that illustration, so unlike sa forward pass daw, we use the largest value. Since there are two arrows leaving node 2, that is activity 2 to 4, at 11, and at 10, that it is finished for activity 1 to 2, which is 10. Balik-balik naman na yun. So we tabulate ang results. We have the activity, the duration, we have the late finish, and the late start. So atong na example diri nga ikuha ang early start, early finish, late start, and late finish. Para mas dali siguro gamit ani nga table. Total float, activity, duration, early start, early finish, late start, late finish. So task na to ano nga nanay precedence diagram daan, then we just have to solve for the early start, early finish, late start, and late finish. So for solving for the early start, ES and EF, so we have for activities 1 to 2, 0 plus 5. Kung magamit taog table dere, so kung magamit tag table, so kanilang atong basihan nga table sa gagmay man ng figures. So every node magbuhat taog table. Wow. Isad man, di masud yung nagsulat. So imagine na lang nga kanay nga table ha. ES. Kayo kaagi. So for this node 2, natay early start kani na 5. And early finish, wala pa. Early finish is 9. Duha man. So, marag maglibog, siguro mo, di na lang na ako ibutang sa, ato na lang sa ining gamiton ang i-provide sa book. So, activity 1, 2, start at 0 with a time of 5 days, you can finish. So, early finish for activity 1, 2, we have 5. Early start is 0. Early start for activity 1 to 3 is 0. And early finish is 2. Then kani nga early finish sa 1 to 3, may morning early start sa activity 3 to 4. So that would be 2 plus 4. So early finish sa 3 to 4 is 6. Then may mo na sad ning early start sa 4 to 5. So dili day. Since sa node 4, natay duha ka arrows, natay duha ka activity nga may proceed naguna sa node 4. For activities 2 to 4, natay 8 nga duration, 8 nga early finish. Early finish nga 8 for activity 2 to 4 and early finish nga 6 for activities 3 to 4. So if forward pass man ta, so atong pilion nga early start for activity 4 to 5 is the largest value. So unsay mas dako sa 8 o sa 6. So may atong gamiton para mag-solve sa early start for activities 4 to 5. Makita ba kung makita? So then so early start na to should be 8, the largest value compared to 6. So 8, may itong gamiton. Then to solve for the late finish activities 4 to 5, add na to 8 plus 3, we have here 11. Then sa kaninga path, we have 5 plus 4, atay 9. So atong critical path, atong duration should be 11 days. Then pabaliktad na ta. 11. Sayop ang nabutang ako figure. Okay. So kanina lang. So for the backward pass, kanina lang. Ano ito ang late finish. 11 for node 5. Then atong late start for activities 4 to 5 should be 11 minus 3. So, manin natin 8. Then, late start for activity 2 to 5, we'll have 11 minus 4. Anong 9 man? Sayop na sad. So, dapat 11 minus 4 ni siya. Ayan. Ito lang ni omit na example ha. Solving the total float or slack time. Ako kabantayan ni ganina. Resolve na lang ito. 11 minus 4. Yun na, 7. 7, then 8. 8 is naman na 8 minus 3. 5. So natay 5 ug 7. Sa backward pass man ta, so 5 yapay mo govern. Sakto lang yapan ni 5. Then for this activity 3 to 4, that would be 8 minus 4. So natay 4. Sakto ra. Then 5 minus 5, 0. For this 1, 4 minus 2, 2 atong late start. So by the way, naa siya gibutan din. So this one is the early start. One ay late start. Kani sa early start, late start. Ang uban wala niya matangi. So early start, hindi na lang. Okay, backward pass naman ta. As long as kanina itong gisunod for the backward pass. Kung balikon, for the backward pass, nata 11 minus 3, so 8. 8 minus 3, 5. Dire 8 minus 4, we have 4. This for activity 2 to 5, we have 11 minus 4. We have here 7. Then at node 2, we have 2 naman tayo duha ka late start, 7 and 5. Kay backward pass man tatong pilihan is the smallest value or the shortest duration. So one 5. And 5 minus 5, we have late start 0. And for this path, natay late start nga 2. How to solve for the slack? So slack time or the total float, kung sa ganun na slack time, ito dire. Tara, total float. So the total float is the amount of float that is shared by all activities. So once this float is used on an activity, it no longer exists. Bati siyang definition katong isa. Dali. The total float is the span of time an activity can be delayed. So, can be delayed after its earliest start without delaying the project management. So, kung natay float, kana nga float is, pwede na nato magamit as leeway. So, if na human siya, if ang float is wala nagamit, so meaning mas early ta na human sa atong critical path. So for the float, anra. So talapitan to. So for the float, it is just early start minus early finish. Panera. I mean early start minus late start. So subtract ra na nimo, same ra man eh. Early start minus late start minus early start or late finish minus early finish. So kani sila nga mga slacks pareha-resan equal ra gid na dapat. If you tabulate it. A timely way. It can be used without adverse effect on the project time completion. So let's say asa man ay float dire sa 2, 1, 2, 3. Natay float sa activity 1, 2, 3. So meaning, pwede ra, teka sa na pa-explain na. Mabisan pa og malate ta diri og 2 weeks or unsa time ani 2 days. Dili na siya maka-affect sa atong critical path. And also usasad sa atong mabantayan sa atong critical path wala jud tay float dira. So sa atong critical path ani this one 1 to 5 1 to 4 5. So pangitaon ra nato ang zero float. So 1 to 4 5 4 5. Sayop manggod ni ang sa 2 4 7 1 2 4 5 1 2 4 5. Okay. So anong okay. Kani kay late start kani naman ni value good. Wala ni siya dapat ang 2 to 5. Dili ni siya 0 ang slack. Kay tungod ano kanina sayop niya. In the critical path, ano yung mga zero. Zero ang slack. Or the float. This one, 1, 2, activities 1, 2, 2, 4, and 4, 5. Maura man na siya. Kanina na example. So from the following diagram, determine each the following: the length of each path, the critical path, and the amount of float for each path. Okay. Dari natin mga path. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Sa path 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, we have 10 plus 1, 2, 4, 8 plus 4 plus 2. So duration is 24. So sa path 1, 2, 5, 6, that would be 10, 1, 2, 5, 6 plus 13 plus 2 plus 25. Then 1, 3, 5, 6, 6 plus 12 plus 2, 20. Yeah. To solve for the float, total float na siya. 25 minus 24. Kanina. Critical path, the duration minus sa kaninga path. Duration sa dili critical path. The total float na to is 425 for this path na 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. That ay 1 day. 1 day ba ni? Let's say days na lang ni. Days. Then, terminal na to. Bantayan nga sa critical path, dapat 0 gid na ang float. So kung dili gani mo 0 ang float, dili na siya critical path. Okay. So next, critical path and the amount of float time. Mga ramanday. Sa gani. So this one, say discuss natin. Okay, from the following network diagram, prepare a data sheet. Development showing earliest start, early finish, then late start, late finish, the total and the free float, then critical activities. Given na ta og diagram. Nana tayo diagram, nana tayo precedence diagram, then nana sa tayo duration. Pwede na nato buhat na dito sa data sheet. So, how to make a data sheet? First indicate activities and estimated time. So we have here activity 1, 2. So these are all based on the precedence diagram. 1, 2 na 8 na duration. 1, 3 and 1, 4. List lang na siya tanan. Then next is to fill up the columns for early start and early finish. So sunod is the forward pass. So for the forward pass, same ra ganina, add early start sa 1 plus duration, may mo early finish sa node 2. Then early finish sa node 2, may mo early start for the next nga activity. And so on. Actually, pwede ninyo i-program sa Excel. Ano na lang ninyo, dili na lang siya. 1 to 2 niya. I-program lang niyo if the value of this one is 2, para makita ang precedence ba. So we have here the starting activities 1, 2, 1, 3, and 1, 4. So para makita ang precedence, pwede rin ninyo program na actually para makuha ni mga early start and early finish. Pwede rin ninyo dire mag-formula mo if this one is 2 or if this one is 3. Yeah, add ra ang estimated na duration. Pwede na ninyo i-study sa Excel. Dali ra na. Kung naalang may time. Busy kayo mo sa thesis, no? Okay, di na siguro na ako discuss og balik. Kay same naman ni sa katong precedence. Mag-add ra man ka forward pass. So, activity, 8 plus 0, 6 plus 0, early finish. Then kani nga, the next kay continue filling up. Ato kanina kay early finish. Gitiwas na lang niya sa next sa preceding activities. So, mato siya. Early finish sa preceding activity 1, 2, may mo siyang early start sa nagsunod 2 to 6. So, 8, then i-add mo ang duration na 5. And add mo ang duration, and i-add mo, then you have 15. Add mo yung 5, i-add mo yung 15. So on. So na lang hantod ma-fill up pa mo ang tanang early start and early finish. Ma-review na ninyo first nara sa I don't assume sa inyo masabtan nyo dayon ang tanaw mo diri sa akong discuss. At least na-introduce lang ako. Then for computing the last start and late start, late finish, backward pass na dayon. If na-fill up pa na nimo ang early start, early finish, ang totoo buhos, tanan, then backward pass na sad ka. Backward pass. Then ari ka mag-start sa tumoy. Backward gani. Sa patangas. So solve for the late finish and the late start. Okay. Then hantod mapuno sa babaw. So then ka sa float. Total float. To solve for the total float, subtract na mo diretso ang early start sa total float. Total float is just equal to last finish minus early finish. LF minus early finish or pwede sa late start minus early start. Manay total float. For the free float, that would be early start minus early finish. So, tanaw na. Free float, early start. This one, early start sa nagsunod nga activity minus sa early finish. Ang sakto. Then, for the total float, subtract ra gyud nimo. 5, 20 minus 6, 15 minus 15, 20 minus 5. Nara. Then, puno na tayo ng data sheet. Katong mga 0 ang mga float, automatic na mga ang critical activities. So, dari, gimark niyo yung critical activities, ipatangan og asterisk. So, dapat 0 ang total float o ang free float. So, if ang total float na may uban nga mo 0 ang free float but nagya po yung total float. So, di na siya critical activity. So, mailan ragya pa na niyo sa inyong precedence kung ma-establish na niyo ang critical path, pwede na ganin dili mo mag-base ani nga float. Pwede na katong critical path, gyapon yung i-base for the critical activities. Mao dito. Questions? So, I know, daghan questions kay maglibog man siya i-discuss good. Daghan na questions. Daghan questions, sir, sa thesis. Wala may generator. Tag ano. Ano lang. To have you practice this making of data sheet na ako i-prepare nga assignment. Siyempre, so this, ang deadline na ng assignment kaya next week. So, sundan lang na ninyo ang steps o kani. Buhat niya sa data sheet. Ang mapuno lang kay kamo pa magbuhat sa precedence diagram. Ang bansay naman kayo mo buhat og precedence diagram. Gani na naman kayo nakita nga nag-submit. Questions? Verifications? Pwede rin kita mo mag-end og sayo kay mag-study pa ba mo.
Sir, pwede ko mo clarify regarding sa kato last meeting,
Ansa?
kato the rules. Can I clarify lang, sir, regarding the rules in making the precedence diagram? Because, sir, the other rule said we start from left to right and then from top to bottom. And then the top to bottom should be consistent. Pero sa assignments, sir, it's kind of weird because the top to bottom is not consistent.
Sa assignment?
Yes, sir.
Ganun, di man consistent.
Okay, one of the top to bottom is, wait, let me get my homework here. One of the top to bottoms precedence diagram is 3 to 4. Then the next top is 6 to 5. So it's like the first top to bottom is increasing, but the next top to bottom is decreasing.
Okay. So if na chances nga yan anak. So at least lang makakuan ka left to right. So if di gud makaya nga top to bottom tanan, so at least left to right lang.
Okay. Sige. Thank you, sir.
Kaya na may chances no nga maglibog ta sa ibutang arrows mao ba yung pasabot. Kaya dili siya pangitag
yes, sir.
dapat sa top siya.
Yes, sir.
So if di gid makaya, so there are chances nakatarisad ko ana day. There are chances nga dili masunod ang rule nga top to bottom. So at least left to right okay ra kayo na. Dili ra na problema. Dili ra sa strict to na. Basta left to right lang kay isod po. Nay mabali. Okay ra?
Sige, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Na pangutana lain. Naabitaw. Na actually sa book ni Fardo. Pentagon. Sa katong sa book mo nag-base, no? Kanang top to bottom na lang na strict. Basta left to right lang. So pasabot mo sa Pentagon. Naabitaw. So same ra gyapon na sa giingon ni kisa to katong tana ganina. Left to right lang gihapon. Pwede ra man ninyo extend ang arrow para mo left to right siya. Kanalitan na dili siya di ma-achieve ang top to bottom. Then i-extend lang ang arrow, pwede ra man nimo pa ipa-curve ang arrow. I mean, palikoon ba? Dili siya curve. Na-post ng chapter 6. Wala niya nakita. Wala pa din. Okay. Nara sa blueprint. Kalimut ko og kuan. Wala pa din na abot sa inyo ang canvas. As long as the precedents na lang masunod. I'm not dili na lang ta mag-strict anang top to bottom or kuan. Basta ang arrows in activities sa precedents mo na yung pinaka-importante. Alam mo pag-stick to ng mga drawing. Ayo. Basta masabtan lang ang precedents. That's the important thing man said. 6. Makita na niyo ang chapter 6. Kapila yung pangutan na. Wala na? Question? Five, four, three, two. Okay. So, review lang sa book para makita niyo ang trend yun sa on. Then answer sa assignment. Upload rin ako assignment later. So if wala lagi pangutan na, then let's call it a day. Thank you and bye.
Thank you